Turn on them notifications so we can create some devastation. And make sure you subscribe. Because the real is back, keeping hope alive. We're not going to drop the intro. We're just going to get straight into it. Bro, what we thought initially, and no offense to Mama Duck or anything like that, like Kevin Gates say, Mama Duck, I love you to death. You're one of them gang members. You know, yeah. So, the feds didn't all the way keep it real with her. I'm going to keep it all the way real. This is literally government documents that I'm reading. Chicago. Here we go. 5 alleged street gang members charged with federal racketeering offenses, including murder of a Chicago rapper. That's the RICO. A federal indictment unsealed today charges 5 alleged members of the O-Block street gang with participating in a criminal organization that murdered a Chicago rapper and violently participated the gang and its territories on the south side of Chicago. The indictment alleges that the O-Block gang publicly claimed responsibilities for acts of violence in Chicago and used social media and music to increase their criminal enterprise. The O-Block gang allegedly engaged in numerous acts of violence, including the murder of Carlton Weekly, a Chicago rapper known as FBG Duck, on August 4th, 2020. Charged with committing the murder in the aid of racketeering are Chicago residents Charles Liggins, also known as C. Murder, who's 30 years old, Kenneth Robertson, also known as Kenny, and Kenny Mack, 28, to Carlos Alfred, also known as Los, 30 years old, Charles Thomas, also known as C-Thang, 22, and Marcus Smart, also known as Muwop, 22 years old. The indictment also charges the defendants with federal firearm violations and assaults in aids of racketeering. Liggins, Alfred, Thomas, and Smart were arrested this morning. They are scheduled to make initial court appearances today at 2 p.m. before the U.S. Magistrate Judge M. David Wiseman. Robertson is currently in the custody of Cook County Department of Corrections. His initial federal court appearance will be scheduled at a later date. The indictment was announced by John L. Losh, Jr., United States Attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, Emerson Bowie, Jr., Special Agent in charge of Chicago Field Office and FBI, and David Brown, Superintendent of the Chicago Police Department. Substantial assistance in the investigation was provided by the Cook County State Attorney's Office. The government is represented by Assistant U.S. Attorney Jason A. Julian, Albert Berry III, and Anne Marie Ursini. The public is reminded that an indictment is not evidence of guilt. The defendants are presumed innocent and entitled to their fair trial at the government has the burden. Why did they put a typo there? Entitled to a fair trial at which the government has the burden of proving guilt beyond reasonable doubt. The murder count in the indictment carries a mandatory minimum sentence of life in federal prison and maximum potential sentence of the death penalty. One of the firearm counts also punishable by a maximum potential sentence of death penalty, while the other firearm count is punishable by a mandatory of 10 years and a maximum of life. The assaults counts are punishable by a maximum of 20 years. If convicted, the court must impose reasonable sentences under federal sentencing statuses and the advisory of U.S. sentencing guidelines. They are all facing the death penalty. The firearms are carrying the minimum of 10 years. So they're facing 10 years to the death penalty. Look at all the departments that was stacked up against them. Bruh, this reeks and screams the internet. The internet is coming. The internet is coming. Now, they said use social media and music to increase their criminal enterprise. Lil Durk, I got a video coming for you next. Because you need to hear this shit. Because you heard the very first one that I dropped. Bruh, let me tell y'all something. Y'all ain't got no homies no more. There's no such thing as homies no more in the rap game. You're either an asset or a liability. Ain't no two ands about it. You shouldn't be kicking it with nobody. No, none of that, bro. None of that. It's impossible now. Bruh, them cats is done. Say what you want. And from what it's saying, Los, your ass was in jail first. Los, you was in jail first. You was in jail first. You was. They all go to O Block. Well, they all pull up in Chicago. I don't know if they went to O Block. And, yeah. No. This is scary, bro. They kicking that RICO shit off earlier than I told y'all, bro. I told y'all this. I told y'all this. I wasn't just speaking to speak. I wasn't just speaking to speak. Los, it's looking like you read it. And they pointed the picture at Zell. Zell did not snitch. And I told y'all it didn't make sense. Zell didn't rat. Zell ain't rat. It's looking like Los did. But we gonna go live. We gonna go live. Because it's too much for me to say that I could put into this one little short video. But, bruh, I just read the federal indictment to y'all off their website. And I'm telling you right now, bro. It's too many things popping out that don't make sense. But we're going to get to it. I'm going to have a special guest, by the way. And then my special guest is going to have a super special guest when they do their live later on. Oh, yeah, we taking over YouTube today. If you my ally, we taking over YouTube today. Y'all don't tune into nobody else stuff. I'm not hating on nobody, anything like that. But do not tune into nobody else stuff right here. You got it locked right here, bro. This was not done by nobody but the feds, and the feds use what y'all love the most against y'all asses. And I had a suspicion about it. And I'm sorry to say that my suspicions were correct. And it is unfortunate because we had young potential millionaires from the ages of 22 all the way up to 30 that was well off on their way to be somebody famous. And now, unfortunately, their downfall is going to make somebody like me famous to tell y'all got to operate with the level of understanding that there is nothing that you can do anymore that ain't online.